We are chatting about the sans-culottes today. The sans-culottes, they are a very interesting group of people that played a big part in the French Revolution. The name sans-culottes means without breeches. And that is in reference to the aristocratic fashion being the men all wore breeches. That was kind of the fancy dress of the day. And so the sans-culottes were against that. That was a symbol of the aristocracy, and so they weren't going to have anything to do with that. They wore trousers. And this group was made up of mostly lower class people who were radicalized, and they were tired of not being listened to in their government. They were tired of not having food. They were tired of all of these policies put in place that didn't help them at all. And so because of that, they were a very violent group. These were the people that you could count on to storm the buildings. And they did that on several occasions. The storming of the Bastille, they stormed Versailles and brought the king and queen to Paris, and a lot of different things. They were also responsible for a lot of executions during the time period. And I think this is one of the things that is a little bit frightening about them, was they were very easily whipped into a rage. It usually didn't take a lot to get them energized and ready to go get rid of whichever person they were mad at. And even if they didn't have all of the evidence against this person, they would go find that person or go find their family, and they would either just beat them up or they would murder them. Sometimes they would even go to the jails and drag people out who were awaiting trial and execute them. Now, most of the other groups in the French Revolution were really worried about this group. Even the Jacobins, who for the most part, they were kind of on board with the same ideals. But yeah, even the Jacobins were worried about the sans-culottes and what they could do, because they saw so much destruction that this group of people could create. Because of that, they played a huge part during the Reign of Terror, assisting the Jacobins in getting rid of people that they felt like were anti-revolutionary. Just as they contributed to the Reign of Terror with the Jacobins, they kind of faded into oblivion with the Jacobins as well. After Robespierre was brought down, they were kind of disbanded by the end of 1794. And this group, if you are looking at paintings of the French Revolution, you can always pick out the sans-culottes, because they'll be wearing trousers. A lot of times these trousers would be white with like blue and red stripes. And they also are almost always depicted with a red liberty cap, which is something that I bring up in Beyond the Lavender Field. These liberty caps were usually red, and they were kind of like a beanie. And then on the top, they kind of curled over. I'll put a picture right here of them. And often they would have a little cocarde or a little rosette that was red, white, and blue. The sans-culotte, especially the sans-culotte image, was kind of seen as the ideal revolutionary, because they were willing to just go all out in defending what they believed was the correct direction for France. And next week, we're going to talk about a group that plays a big part in Beyond the Lavender Fields, and I will see you then.